to the Raw Peach Crumble Show. Let's see. I guess I just want to start by saying I have tried to look for relatively healthy dessert recipes because I like dessert just as well as anyone else. And I'm not above eating, you know, the whatever, chocolate mousse and, you know, all the higher calorie things, ice cream, whatever. I love them all, but it's also nice to have a healthier alternative to that tastes good. That's the important part. Gotta taste good. So anyway, this is one of those things. And I also want to say that it is not low carb. It is not particularly low calorie. But it does taste good, and it's got fiber in it, you know, to counterbalance those easily absorbed carbohydrates. Anyway, so maybe not too bad. All right, so the original recipe that I found starts, it uses apples rather than peaches, but I usually use the apples in the fall, and when peaches are in season like now, I really like to use those. I tried that, and the peaches are wonderful also, as are the apples. So feel free to use either. So, all right, so it has three parts. There's a topping, there's the sloppy filling part, and then there's the peach filling part. And so first, we're gonna do the topping because the food processor has to be dry for the topping. Okay, so let's see. These are fresh Medjool dates, and you can find these in, you know, Safeway and Giant. They're not terribly hard to find. Now, I want to point out that you want to use these rather than the ones that are a little bit easier to find that you find in the dried fruit area, which are called Deglet Noor dates. And a lot of times it just says dates on the packaging. So just make sure it says Medjool. I mean, you can use the other ones, but it's just not as good. These just taste better, they're softer, and also these are larger than the other ones too, so you'd have to figure out how much of the other ones to use if you couldn't find these, or, you know, whatever. So, or had the other ones, I guess. I'm not above substitutions, believe me. So, all right, so maybe I should come over. I don't know, let's see. So that's what it looks like. And it is a little bit larger than the other garden variety dates. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is work with the dates. So these are not pitted, so you do have to take the pits out. So I've taken the pit out of one of them, and all you have to do is make a slit down the side and open it up, and you'll see the pit in there, and you just pull it out. Easy. The peaches are a little harder, but anyway. All right, so what we're going to do here is just chop up the dates into, you know, small-ish pieces, because it just takes less time in the food processor that way. All right, so we've got, actually, I am having this recipe, the one that you have, I'm doing it in half because I just don't want 10 desserts that we have to eat. So anyway, oops, got to open the food processor. All right, throw them in. And then the other thing that goes in there is walnuts. So these are like halves and pieces. So there's a lot of halves though. So I'm gonna give them a rough chop first. Okay, and I like to use a chef's knife for this because it just works nicely, let's say. Okay, so first I'm going to give the dates a little whiz in the food processor just because they're harder than the walnuts. So in order to have them both in the same size pieces in a reason, you know, in a good amount of time, not have pureed walnuts and you know, big pieces of dates. So here goes. Okay. Now I'm going to put in the walnuts. Okay. All right, and that's it. Now, so I described processing until they're about 1/8 to 1/4 size little chunks in there, and that's probably can't really see it, but you know what? I'll put it in the bowl and then I'll show you.
Just hold it forward.
I don't know, is that good? But that's what they look like. So it's just like a crumbly topping. All right, so we're done with that for now. All right. You can tell I haven't done this before. All right, so the next step is to chop up the peaches in pieces. I did some of this already so that you don't have to wait for me to be chopping tons of peaches. Okay, so most of you have probably chopped a peach before. Some of them they come apart easily, the pit comes out easily, some not. Well, most of these don't. So I just cut like a quarter of the peach and then slide my knife in and try to pop it out. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going all around the pit and then popping out. Even have to like cut around the pit too. These are kind of a mess, but they'll taste good. They're nice and juicy. All right. Yeah, different varieties of peaches will pop out. I think freestone, maybe that's what it's called, freestone peaches. They pop out easily. So anyway, I cut them into small-ish pieces. Let's see. Okay. And pop them in the bowl. All right, so now I have already squeezed some lemon juice, okay? You can use fresh lemon, or sometimes if I'm in a hurry or I don't have lemons, I just use bottled lemon juice. I always keep some of this in the fridge for emergencies. So anyway, I've pre-squeezed, there it goes, pour it in there, and then mix it up. So right now it's just chunky peaches and lemon juice. Okay. the next step is to make the like the sloppy part of it. It makes it more like a dessert, and it's makes it sweeter too, because this part is going to have more dates, as are in the topping, and raisins. So again, dates, cut it open, pull the seed out. Okay, I've already seeded 2 other ones, so I have three dates, and this is all going to go in the food processor also. Dates are a wonderful natural sweetener. I've got some other recipes also that use dates for sweetening, and they're fairly high fiber. Let's see, it says what the fiber is on here. They should. Okay, so serving size is 2 dates, and it's got 4 grams of fiber for 2 dates. So 2 grams per date. That's not too bad. All right, so here go the dates. And raisins. And seeing as those are the harder parts, now even though I'm gonna puree the whole thing, I'm still gonna give it a little whiz beforehand. Okay. Yeah, so they're pretty small, just like little bitty pieces. Okay, now we're going to add the peaches, lemon juice, and the spices. All right, so bear with me while I cut up a couple of peaches here. All right, let's see. I always cut it in half first and try to twist it and see if it's not coming. The last one I ended up kind of mushing a little bit, which maybe is okay, but so I just keep cutting and go down to the pit and then just kind of wiggle it off or cut it off. All right, I'm gonna just kind of cut around the pit. It's good probably to have, you know, your big knife and a littler knife. I have I guess, newfound respect for all of you who have done this before me and for the people who do it on TV. All right, so all of this goes in the food processor. I guess I've been a student of nutrition for a long time, and eventually I've gotten around to, okay, let's see if this one will give. Nope. Eventually I've gotten around to really trying to eat healthy food, and so not only do I try to find healthy desserts, but you know, try to do other healthy food too, just so that even if I'm overeating, at least it's good food, right? All right. I remember when Jim Thrift did his chili, he said something about people like to watch other people work. So I hope this isn't too boring watching me struggle with these peaches. All right.
May I ask a question, or would it distract you?
Oh, no, please do.
So I did print out the recipe when I realized I had not done so before. So you start out your recipe, you are now doing it, cutting it in half. Is that correct?
that I was just cutting the peach in half.
No,
but-
I mean cutting the recipe in half.
Oh, yes, yes, I cut the recipe in half.
So you started with 3 peaches on the dry filling, I'll call it, and now you're doing additional peaches for the sloppy
Right,
part. Okay, thank you.
yes. Yeah, so it really is very easy to cut the recipe in half, because if I'm cutting it in half and I get 5 servings instead of 10. And actually, the original recipe said that this made 4 servings, the full recipe. Oh my God. Okay, so 1/10 of the recipe is 200 calories. Okay, I figured out what the calorie count was. 200 is acceptable, but it's still, to me, kind of high. But it would be what? 200, it would be 500, 500, no, 450, whatever. It would be a lot of calories, in my opinion, for a dessert. It would be comparable to eating a chocolate mousse. So, and okay, so these are the dessert dishes I'm using. I don't know, they're maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup, something like that. That's enough for dessert, right? All right, so we did that. There's that. All right, so now I am going to throw in a little lemon juice. What is it? How much? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm throwing in the lemon juice. Just, cut the recipe in half, or, just follow it the way it is. All right, and I've also pre-measured my nutmeg and cinnamon. That goes in too. And we're going to give it a whiz. All right, so I am pureeing this, so it's going to be not very chunky at all, like minimally chunky. And I should probably have a spatula here, but I'm pushing down the bits and pieces that have crept up the side of the food processor to, get everything down in there again. Okay. Oh, I know. So at knitting the other day, I was talking with the ladies about my presentation, and a few of them did not have a food processor. So we were talking about the possibility of using a stick blender. That could possibly work, but I have not tried it, and I was just, this was enough for me to be doing without trying to, use a different tool. So it might work. I don't know. Like my stick blender came with a container that's probably, I don't know, 6 to 9 inches tall and about 4 or 5 inches in diameter. And, it could possibly work, especially with this part, the part that I just did. It might be a little harder with the crumble topping, but maybe if you chopped everything up with a knife, like even smaller than I did, it could possibly work. So it's probably worth a try if that's all you have. All right. So now I've got my chopped up peaches, and I'm going to put in the mixture that I just pureed in the food processor. So now I have that, and I'm going to just mix it up. Okay. now I'm just gonna put the, let's see, move that out of the way. Put my little cups out. And you can also put this in a, like in a serving dish also, and then just people can spoon out as much as they want. But, you know, so this will be pre-portioned. So I just, you know, put a little bit in each cup. Yeah, I should have said before, I don't mind questions. So if you have questions, yeah, I don't mind being interrupted. Okay. I happen to have these little dishes. If you've got like custard cups, or we have these little cups too, you know, it doesn't matter. Okay, now, you know what, I'm gonna get a, well, I can use this. All right, so now I'm gonna just put the topping on each of these. Try to get more in the cup than I get on the counter.
Cindy, how do you think pears would be?
You know, I think that would be delicious. This got me thinking about what other fruits I could use. You could probably use mangoes or plums or, yeah.
It's very versatile. It seems like it's a very versatile recipe.
Yeah, oops, I would say so. And maybe even mixed fruits too. I don't know. Because, yeah, I think it would be wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know that berries would work as well, but I think all the rest of them probably would. Because berries would get all squishy.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, you know what? You could use berries for a sauce, you know, like the puree part.
That's true. Use a mixture that way.
Yeah.
I think strawberries would work.
Okay. Thank you.
So anyway, those of you that have come to my house for knitting, I have made either the apple one or the peach one before. So, all right, so let's see.
Probably you get walking out of the light.
Yeah. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but I mean, that's what it looks like. It's a pretty full cup.
We'll be right over.
So anyway, that is raw peach crumble. No cooking, just, you know, I guess a food processor really does help, but I'd be interested to know if any of you try a stick blender. I might try that the next time, you know, just to see if it can work. So,
Cindy, can you freeze that?
you know, I have never tried to do that, but I would think maybe that I don't know, if you freeze it and then, you mean eating it frozen or thawed out?
I would thaw it out, I would guess.
Yeah, that would destroy the like the cells in the peaches that are cut up, and it might be super mushy, but maybe it would be okay. I don't know, it's worth a try. It'll be different though. Anybody else have questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for tuning in. It was less painful than I thought it was going to be.
You did a fine job, Cindy.
Thank you.
Good job. I'm going to try it.
It was wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Cindy, you didn't have to peel any of the peaches.
You know what? The original recipe says to peel. I never peel. I don't peel the apples. I don't.
Okay.
No. I mean, all the vitamins are going away then. Or
Yeah.
not.
And the fiber.
Right, that's where all your
Yeah,
vitamins
that
are. And
kills nutrition
Yeah.
when you do that.
Right. So, and
Yep.
it's wonderful. It doesn't, yeah. So, Nobody's ever complained.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Cindy.
Cindy.
Nice
Bye,
seeing
everybody.
everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.